Backbone. How do I share this stream? Can everyone hear me okay? Does this microphone actually work? Can you hear me right? Oh yeah, good, 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 good. Everyone watching the F2 quali? Right, how do I share this on Instagram and let people know that I'm actually doing this? Share. Here we go. Oh. Copy. Right, switch to... G'day everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Give me a minute while I just try and shamelessly promote this on the internet. Right, paste. Paste. Oh, fuck. Done. Done with that. Link. I think that's what I need. How do you post a link? Here. Done. F2 quali with Jim. There we go. Post. Here we go. Oh god. Could have done my hair before this, but never mind. It's quite weird being alone. So sorry to disappoint. If anyone's expecting Marcus to join, he won't be. Because it's heavens knows what time in New Zealand, in Barber, Alabama. Come on, Clem. Come on, Clem. Hang on, so I won't have that too loud so that you can't hear Alex Jakes over the top of me. James, what are you doing? I've got absolutely no idea, as per usual. Yes, well, anyone who's spotted it, yes, this is a Ferrari Driver Academy t-shirt. I was dropped quicker than a hot plate as soon as Mattia Binotto discovered I had a personality, so that was the dream over. Prediction. I think Victor could be on. I think Victor could be looking pretty good. Old Big Dick Vic. Behrman topped it in the practice. He did tag the wall though. He does like a bit of a wall tag, old Ollie B. Bless his cotton socks. Clem P1 baby. Yeah. If I reckon he should be. He should be in the top 12 as we see relive Yuri Vips's magnificent crash last year on the warm up. If you're watching along, they're just going through the track map thing now, and now we've got the over shot of the grid or the pit lane. Yeah. So James is now hosting a one-man show. It's always really been a one-man show in my eyes. As far as output of work and time investment and actually the financial investment's all been Armstrong, but yeah. Somebody's eating Vegemite on toast from a jar that I signed in Australia. That's quite nostalgic. I remember that jar of Vegemite. A very small jar of Vegemite. You need to get something a little bit bigger. You'd mow through that in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Watching. Oh, there's a delay apparently. What's going on here? Hang on. I'm gonna need a bit of volley. It looks like it could be a bit damp, you know. I'm going to see how much volume I can get away with on my telly. That's probably a bit too much. Who crashed in FP1 and F1? I was on a business call. I didn't actually catch it. Also, Gasly's car caught fire. Okay. Snowed his tyre shit itself. Yeah, fair enough. Carlos at the fuck me. I mean, the F2 drivers. It looks like the F2 drivers did a far better effort of FP1 than the F1 boys, which is rare, especially to place like Azerbaijan. Usually somebody's found the wall, and historically speaking, it was usually Mr. Armstrong himself. Fuck, he loved to crash out of practice and qualifying. I mean, he did it in Long Beach. He stuck it in the wall in qualifying. To be fair, that wasn't his fault. It was a mechanical fault with the car. I can't actually say what it was as far as I'm aware, but not just making up porky pies, but there was an issue, and that's why I ended up at the wall. Opinion on the new weekend concept. To be honest, I've actually been a bit busy this week to read too much about it. From my understanding, there's some kind of qualifying today, and then there's a sprint, and then there's like a top 10 shootout, maybe like a Bathurst style top 10 shootout. I don't know. Can somebody actually, if somebody could explain that to me, that'd be wonderful. Just having a look at the old comments here. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Oh, was the audio bad? Sorry. I can try and turn it up on my microphone. We have quality today, which will set a grid for Sunday's race. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's a bit like karting, I think. No, not really, actually. That was a stupid comment. Audio is fine. Somebody's talking about audio is fine, so I shan't be worried about that. Right, scheduled start is 15:10 local time. So in about 7 minutes. Um, Thanks everyone again for joining. Do appreciate your company. Appreciate? That's not a fucking word. Get it together, please. Pit lane. Now, last time Formula 2 was qualifying the cars, I was actually there. I was in Australia, and I absolutely. This is horrendously boring chat. But I'm going to dive right into it anyway. I timed it to an absolute T because I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll watch the qualifying from the Formula 2 hospitality. They had TVs all set up in there and stuff. So I want to actually be able to figure out what's going on. And I watched in there until the red flag came out for the rain, and I thought, well, this is a bit shit actually. I'm not just going to wait around in here with all the rest of the mums and dads and brothers and sisters and cousins and postmen. And so then I trundled over to the pit lane to watch the rest of the qualifying, and it stopped raining as I got there. So poor old Lydia from bloody Park Fermo, absolutely drenched. Saw her when I got in there, and she looked like a cat that had a bath. But anyway, looks relatively sunny now in Azerbaijan. A bit of sea mist coming in, rolling in across Baku. The audio is a bit low. Okay, well, turn your volume up. How about that? Vesti. I think it's often forgotten that Vesti is actually a part of the Mercedes Academy. They're so fast to go Ferrari Driver Academy, Williams Driver Academy, Alpine Driver, but they never actually. I think that's because it's with an Italian team. He's being interviewed now, by the way, if you're trying to sync up your tallies to what I'm seeing. Mate, your hair looks like you just woke up. I've been in the office. Thank you very much. Um, it's been a very stressful week. I'm currently on my lunch break doing this. So, do you know what actually? What I really like is the ability to have a racetrack that close, and they do bang on about it in the actual commentary, but it is quite cool to have a racetrack that close to a World Heritage site. Big fan of that. That's pretty cool. They should do it more often, but I don't know where you'd do it. Like a World Heritage Grand Prix in like Lisbon or something. Lisbon's the oldest city in the world. Don't know, a bit of geography chat for you there on your Friday afternoon. Hedger was quick this morning. They seem to have figured something out at High Tech in the last couple of weeks. Because I remember I was speaking to a friend of the show, Jackie Moon, in Melbourne after practice quali and the sprint. I think he basically said to me, he's driving exactly the same, but the results are 10 spots up the timesheet. But he doesn't feel like he's driving any better or worse than he had done at the previous rounds where the results weren't really happening. So basically a brief summary of F2 for you there. When you're trying to be quick, you won't be, and when you give up, you'll be quick. So good life lesson, perhaps, to anyone watching out there. If you want to succeed, just give up. There he is on the telly. Moon. Stars and Stripes lid. It's quite a cool lid, actually. Getting an abundance of offers now for jars of Vegemite, which greatly appreciated. We're hearing from another team representative now, apparently. I wonder who it is. Giacomo Ricci! Trident team manager. I'm actually going to listen to this. Shut me up for a second. Did he just say human drivers?
Super tight section, especially the caster section, where the last part is very, very fast with a super long straightaway that allowed also during the race some spectacular overtaking, I have to say.
Giacomo Ricci's got one of my favourite Italian accents in the world. Lovely, lovely man, actually. Got to hang out with him a bit in Melbourne. It was his birthday on the Friday. Got a face full of cream. Just going to distance myself from my own comment there. 1 minute and 10 seconds until qualifying starts, as we get a shot of Ollie Behrman in the car on the super soft Pirelli P0 tyre. How's that for a bit of alliteration and enunciation? Got a lot of sponsors, Ollie Behrman. Richard Verschoor. One of the hardest working men in the F2 paddock, to his credit, Richard Verschoor. Nice guy. Of course he is. He's Dutch. We like all the Dutchies. They're always friendly. If you're watching from the Netherlands, hello. Or actually, I should learn more Dutch. That's going to be something I should do. I've got a couple of business partners who are Dutch, so I should really make a bit more of an effort there. As we see Victor Martins with a fan on him. Will he be on the pod? Will who be on the pod? Sorry, Kiara. I lost track of who I was actually talking about there. Get Behrman on the pod. Tried. They said no. Anyway, so 8 seconds until we get a green light. Here in this F2 quality session. Clem does need Screaming Meals as a sponsor. It's something we have discussed at great length about doing, but all it's going to take is really for us to send a vector file of our logo to the team manager at Trident, and we'll get it on the car. But as this is Screaming Meals, none of us have actually bothered to do that. So, pending on that one. Ferrari have their priorities in line. Is that in reference to them not letting Behrman get on? Because I can't disagree with you on that one. That's quite funny. Right, so they all come sort of. Oh, Hadjar's out the gate. He's ready to rock. Holy heck! Watch him go. He's just gonna. Is he just gonna blast past everyone he can here? No, but he's looking pretty aggressive, which is totally on brand for Hadjar. Moon leading the field. God, I love that man so much. Behind Patrick Swayze there, and one of the other 19 Red Bull F2 cars on the grid. Very picturesque circuit, Azerbaijan, or Baku, I should probably say. Big fan of it. Big old fan of it. Jack is so pretty. Jack is so pretty. Oh, here he is. He's on the TV. Shout out to Marcus there.
To take their data and learn from them. And as well, we're learning new things with me and Isaac. We're trying things in the simulator, doing all our preparations quite a lot. So, we're still at a decent driving level.
Decent driving level. Summed up beautifully there by Jacques Moon. It's a long lap here. It is a long lap, which kind of gives me a little bit more confidence being 1.4 seconds off the pace in practice. And, there's plenty of road for Clem to find a bit of time there. I remember when Yuri ran off the podium in Baku. Yeah, wasn't that? Oh no, I think wasn't that Saudi or something? Where I think he had to run off the podium because this is going back. I don't even. Oh no, they fired him. Who cares? He only had like one suit. Like Puma screwed up his suits for the weekend or something, so he only had one. So I think he had he had to skedaddle as soon as the champagne started flying around, so that he didn't ruin the suit for Sunday's race. And then I think he said something about that, and then he got an angry letter from somebody at Puma or Red Bull. Probably not the only angry letter he's ever received in his life, but we'll gloss over that one. So just doing a bit of an installation lap there, I guess. No one really putting down representative speed, as the professional commentators might say. If you're just paying attention to a bit of the chat there. This is my first time doing this, so if it's terrible, please don't let me know and let me live in ignorant bliss. I say on the Mitch Evans pod, even though that he might be... There's something about... I think there was a comment there about Mitch Evans being hot, and he's a gorgeous, gorgeous man. 26 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the session here if you're trying to time up. Sync everything. I'll be doing my best to make sure we're looking at the same thing. Pourchaire. I like Pourchaire's lid. It's like a tennis ball, similar to Amaury Cordial. It's very easy to spot. Is there a driver you don't find hot? Look, if you've got nothing nice to say, you should say nothing at all. I think over the last few weeks we've learned that. So yes, there are drivers who I don't find hot, but I'm not going to name and shame them in front of a massive number of 318 people. Boschong's pretty hot. He's like a 1970s, racing driver. It's a bit like his sunglasses are really sort of. They've got a bit of like a Jackie X kind of Emerson Fittipaldi kind of vibe to them. Long hair as well. I'm trying to kind of go for the same sort of look today. Always he looks like he could be a cast member of the TV show Outer Banks. Like he'd slot right into that show. He'd slot right in. If what's the actor's name? The lead guy. He's called John B on the show. If he had some kind of horrible accident and couldn't film, I reckon Boschong could fill in like a sort of super sub as John B on Outer Banks. Kind of insight that you can expect throughout these Screaming Meals commentary streams as we try and do some new shit. Bit of brake dust flying off the old anchors there from Porchere's car. Behind Moon. So Moon's sort of like the pace setter here. A little bit of a group going. So it's Moon, Porchere, B-Man, and then a little bit of a gap back to it. Looks like Miney, who's been rapid this year. Nisani's put it in the wall! Oh, Roy. Oh, it's Benavides. Do apologise, Roy. Glad you're not in the wall. Yes, James is doing it on his own. James, watching Scary Meals. Oh, hang on. What does this one say? James, I'm watching Screaming Meals and I'm male. Oh, that's novel. Do you reckon there's more of us or Red Bull Academy drivers? Red Bull Academy drivers. Definitely. Definitely. If you change your last name, whether you have a relation or not, to a sort of F1 legend of the past, if you just change your last name to one of those, an academy will sign you. It's going to happen. That's maybe where I went wrong. I just went around thieving merchandise from my friends. Benavides. You can see the sort of visual, distraught disappointment on his face. Bit of smoke coming out of it. Is that the carbon brakes? Deary me. That's a bit of a mess. This might take a while to clear up, ladies and gentlemen. And they've stopped the session with 23:52 to go. And the clock's not ticking on, which is good. Because it sometimes does. I feel like sometimes they do that. They keep the clock ticking. Brad Benavides crashed, if you're just tuning in. There's a question there. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat as much as I can. Would people prefer to just let me waffle, or should I kind of keep trying to pay attention to the chat and then just kind of try and make sense of it? How's Brad in F2? Rough start so far. That would be my... Use that microphone when you're talking. Keep waffling. Waffle. A lot of waffle requests here, so I'll waffle. Luftwaffle. Is it too soon to make a joke about? I'm not going to finish that sentence. Doohan, looking like he might have got out of jail a bit there on his first. Oh my! Oh. Both the BWT cars taking in a bit too much speed, but Benavides is number one of all as far as apex speed there. So you got both these BWT cars doing a twirly round. And then, so by the time Victor's spun himself around, he's seen Benavides just stacked. Oh, so I don't mean to laugh at somebody else's misfortune, but that's pretty funny. Imagine, like, thinking you've missed the braking, being like, oh, how embarrassing. And then by the time you've spun around and got yourself back on track, somebody else has just punted it nose first into the Tech Pro. Deary me. Deary me. Wonder if he's got to sit there for the rest of the... Oh, no, he's probably made it back to pit lane. Oh, he's not happy. He's got quite a cool helmet. It goes with the car quite well. Actually, something I said in Melbourne. The is it PHM? PHM cars look surprisingly cool. Like you would if you'd explained it in words without seeing an image. As we look at a PHM car now, the one remaining in the session, Roy Nisani. You never think if someone described, oh, it's a brown F2 car and it looks great, you wouldn't believe them. But especially up close and personal, and on the tally as well, they actually look quite smart. Big fan. Winfield is a sponsor of ART there. Aren't they a cigarette brand? Winfield? I feel like people smoke Winnie Blues. I feel like that's a thing. Is that Winfield? Don't know. Could use a cigarette. No, don't do that. Yeah, that's going to make a difference. I'm referring to the person walking around on the track just throwing stones off it now. There's an enormous chunk missing out of the Heineken badge and you're worried about a bit of gravel. Get the trucks out. Come on. Victor Martins. Spent a bit of time around Victor Martins in Melbourne. He's a lovely chap. He's pretty hot too. If we're talking about hot drivers. Whew. His brother's cool too, Nico. He's the man. Zane Maloney. He did a good job of selecting reverse gear a couple of times in practice one. And that sounds like I'm having a bit of a go at it, but I'm not, because I do understand it's extremely difficult. Why did the F2, F3 paddock in Melbourne have no bathrooms? I don't know. You'd have to ask the event organizer, I guess. I don't know why the F2 and F3 paddock in Melbourne had no bathrooms, but good feedback. Strong feedback. I'll write an email to the director of... Actually, the director... This is fucking boring. The director of the Australian Grand Prix, I think, retires after this year. So they'll be under new management next year. Really well-run event. I really enjoyed my time there. And I've been to quite a few Grand Prix now. And no, Melbourne was one of the better ones. There's always something going on. But yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Like, they could have put the loos inside the actual paddock, but hey, look, we're all still here. No harm, no foul. Is that an expression? No harm, no foul. Looking at a few more of the old chat here now, so I kind of... What races am I going to this year? Monaco, hopefully, if I ever financially recover, to semi-quote Joe Exotic from my previous 3.5 weeks, because they were very expensive. Maxed out a credit card, got pretty deep into my overdraft. I've been down harder, but yeah, it was in pretty rough shape. But got paid this morning actually, so feeling a little bit healthier now. Because we've currently got a net income of pretty much £0 from all of the Screaming Meals carry-on. So it's not the greatest investment I've ever made in my life, but shit, it's good fun. Looking at Owaza there. Hey, God, he's been rapid this year. He has been rapid this year. Massive. His pole in Abu Dhabi, I was there. I've completely gone off the topic of what races I'm going to this year. Actually, I'll finish that thought process first. As the session is stopped with 23:52 to go, as we look at Jay Dizzle, the most miserable man on the grid. But Silverstone, Monaco. I wanted to go to Imola. I really wanted to go to Imola, but that doesn't look, as I referenced to earlier, financially viable as at current state. But Monaco, Silverstone, struggling now. Zandvoort, I'll be in Zandvoort. That's my birthday weekend in Zandvoort. It's my birthday on the Friday. Not that anyone gives a fuck, James. So I'll be out there having a grand old time. Belgium, no, I don't camp. I don't do tents. So I won't be going to Belgium. But to be fair, with the price of Amsterdam accommodation, I may as well be staying in a tent. God, it's punchy. What was the worst place? Actually, the worst place is the most I've spent on accommodation was Abu Dhabi, but it was very, very nice. But in bit of a travel tip to anyone looking to go to Laguna Seca: either book your accommodation extremely early or stay really far out of town, because I paid £250 a night for a glorified motel near Monterey, which is the town nearest to Laguna Seca. So that was a bit of a bummer. And Carmel, which is the town next to that, is even more expensive than Monterey. So if you're going to do an IndyCar race in California, I'd say you're shit out of luck for this year, because Long Beach is definitely the one to do. Can't recommend that one enough. We had a grand old time. Gee, it's a long old red flag, this. I mean, I don't... Look, I'm the last person to criticise a marshal, because I love a marshal. they're great. They do a fantastic job, and obviously there'd be no racing happening without them. But fuck me, they're taking a while to clear this. Oh well, I've got time. What else am I going to be doing? I've got to go back to work in 35 minutes, but whatever. We'll log back on. We'll finish the week out strong. My cat just turned off my stream, says someone in the chat. Well, you've brought that upon yourself by having a cat. I've got cats myself, but dogs are far superior. Pets, less annoying in some ways. Much happier to see you. I got home. Now, for anyone who's interested, being nobody. I got home. We went to New Zealand in between Melbourne and Long Beach. And my two cats who live there with my family have completely forgotten who I am. And I assume they just assumed me dead when I left to move to England 6 years ago. So that was a shame. That's what you tune in for, isn't it? Some insight. You know, you go, look, hey, this guy's friends with F2 drivers. Maybe he'll have some really cool, like, insider stories and knowledge and sort of, you know, we can really learn something here. But no, he's just talking about his fucking cats in New Zealand. What an embarrassment. Hello from Pukekohe. I have a house in Pukekohe. Hello from Pukekohe. Hello to you, sir/madam, they, them, in Pukekohe. Thanks for tuning in. God, is it late there? Must be late, rather than early hours of the dear morning. Richard Vishaw, another close-up shot of him. Loving that. This cameraman's obviously not looking to walk too far today. I wonder who's filming that. Because we had a substitute producer, Jimbo Harrison. Saw him, he was out in Melbourne getting stuff done. Substitute producer Jimbo Harrison, by the way, was Rory's stand-in when he is off doing more important things like filming Guinness commercials with Niall Horan and Lewis Capaldi, who he didn't think to say, Rory. Not that I'm criticising you in any way, but I'm about to. Not that he said to them, oh, by the way, my best friends in the world do a podcast called Screaming Meals. Would you like to come on? That would have been good. They would have said no, but I mean, you know, they would have at least known who we were. Silver linings. Victor Martins. Another close-up of him. That's quite a good-looking setup as well. I like the sort of the white with. He hasn't gone to town on the red on his lid, which I quite like. A lot of the French drivers, it'll just be I mean, sorry, Clem, but it's just a complete balance of red, white, and bleu, which looks lovely. I mean, it's a lovely color combination. You really can't go wrong with red, white, and blue. I mean, look, Union Jack, stars and stripes. You got your French flag. You've got your Netherlands flag. Is that red, white, and blue? Thailand. Also, great color combination. Really like it. But as I've kind of just listed off, you know, all of Norway again. Thank you as well. Overused. I mean, and I'm not, you know, I'm throwing stones from a glass house here. The New Zealand flag is red, white, and blue as well. Well, we did have a vote to try and change it. And oh Christ, dropping the phone there. To try and change it. Is Dr. John Gates watching me? Is he just saying, oh, hello, Dr. John. How are you? Shout out to Dr. John Gates in New Zealand. Right, what else is happening on the chat here? 'Cause, I mean, to be honest, I'm doing my best here, but I've been dealt quite a bad hand as a qualifying session to start streaming on my own with, given that we've had a red flag for the last 3.5 hours. Here's Roman Stanek. What's going on in the chat? Jason Hoyt. The NZ flag should be Jason Hoyt's face. You're dead right. James, you only got any TV? Oh, this is quite an interesting question here from Jacob. James, if you had to go on any TV game show as a group, so the 4 of us, which one Do you think that you'd have the best chance to win? Probably, probably the chase. Probably the chase, I would say, because in the chase, the game program is if you're too stupid, you get kicked off. So first we'd lose Marcus, then we'd probably lose Callum next, and then it would just be Clem and I left for the final chase. Well, Callum might go all right. Callum might go all right, to be fair to him. Marcus would be out in the first round. And then, yeah, I'd back the general knowledge of old Clemogio and Ilot, to be fair. He's got quite a bit of strange knowledge, especially he knows a lot about animals, and that's important in a racing driver. He knows a lot about animals. I think we'd go right on the chase. Marcus, the dumb blonde of the group. Yep. Bang on. It was a comment there. That wasn't my own comment, but I completely endorse it. Juan Manuel, man of the moment. Getting strapped in, ready to go again for the qualifying session. It looks like we're about to resume. Ecuadorian and American flags on the sides of it. Ecuadorian flag getting a bit of yellow in there for a bit of pop, a pop of colour. Do like it. Never been to Ecuador. Can't see myself ever going there, but I'm sure it's lovely. Session will resume at 15:33, so in a couple of minutes. Enzo Fittipaldi there. He's actually... Charms hitting the microphone there. Enzo, he is a completely and utterly lovely bloke. He is a really, really nice guy. Common theme actually with Brazilian drivers, perhaps, that I'm now just noticing. Drogovic, genuinely lovely bloke. Fittipaldi, genuinely lovely bloke. Bortoletto, really, really nice guy. Hung out with him a little bit in Melbourne. Like the Brazilian drivers are cool. Felipe Massa was my favourite driver, my first ever sort of like favourite driver. If anyone cares. Starting to queue. Here we go. They're starting to queue up now at the end of the pit lane, or starting to sort of make their way on down. Behrman's mechanic getting pushy there. How good was that? Moon's going to slot in just ahead. Oh, no, it was Behrman. Moon's just slotted in just ahead of Ollie. Two good chums. That's been well documented over the various sort of Prema pages, F2 and F3. I feel like Ollie and Moon are kind of like the new Clem and Marcus in a way. Does anyone disagree with that statement? I'd be interested to know. I feel like that's kind of like this is the new generation of, just a pair of idiots who are quick in an F2 car, and they're good friends. So we're going to get an interview here from Victor Martins. Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't need to be anything other than human to know that that's a good-looking man. Or, animals probably not. Perfect length of stubble. Nice kind of wave to the front of his hair. He's really sort of nailed what I've failed. Sort of his face suits his nose quite well as well. He's got that sort of furrowed brow as well. Very athletic looking. Oh, what a smile as well. Dimples as well. Love a dimple. Is it Top Gear Argentina? What? Screaming Meals should film a Top Gear Argentina remake, but just drive through the country. Oh, I've read about one of this gentleman's comments before. Giving us some good content here, Jacob. Thank you. With just Callum on display, it'd be nice and spicy. Yeah, I don't think we'll be doing that. It'd be like, can you imagine if you did like one of those sort of almost like North Korean parades where there's like the giant photo of the supreme leader that gets driven down. We'd do that with a massive photo of Ilot in Buenos Aires. I wonder how that would end. It would end. I'll tell you that much for tuppence. Boschong looks to start a lap. Right, we're actually going to get a qualifying lap here in qualifying. Quite nice and clean through the first two corners. He's got a cool lid. I like his helmet. Lots of DRS zones. I mean, even with the DRS zones, you kind of run out of stuff to talk to. There we go, on the brakes. I like the green and white. The green and white's cool. It's a bit weird that there's a bloke on the side of his car, but I mean, once you look past that, it's actually quite a nice looking race car. I also, talking of green in cars, I like that Patrick Swayze's put the sort of the green front wing and rear wing, which differentiates him a little bit from the rest of the 17 cars on the Formula 2 grid, which are Red Bull branded. This is a real bastard of a section, that castle section. It's obviously well documented, quite very, very narrow. It's very low speed as well, and I'd imagine it's probably pretty easy to loop the wagon through those bits. As you sort of go up the undulation, you're sort of lightening the rear of the car. I hope no actual drivers are watching this and furiously screaming and disagreeing and all sorts of carry on go. We've had plenty of that in the last couple of weeks. Behrman purple in Sector 1. Come on! And Sector 2. I mean, it won't last. I mean, it's the first push lap. I mean, no reason to get too excited, but, I like seeing Ollie do well. Bro forgot who you were talking about there. I don't know who you... Would Screaming Meals sponsor Jackie Moon? Yes. Screaming Meals actually probably in a roundabout way has sponsored Jackie Moon numerous times in numerous establishments in and around the London metropolitan area, but that's about as much information as I'm willing to disclose on that topic. Actually, I'll tell you. Tell you what. Just going to check something quickly. I believe it's Jackie Moon's birthday, either today or Sunday. I believe it's Sunday. It is the birthday of Jacques Moon, the one and only. Let's have a... Now, I actually need to Google his real name here, which I often... Crawford. Jack Crawford. When's his birthday? When does it say? 2nd of May. When's that? Oh, it's on Tuesday. His birthday. Oh, well. Maybe I'll buy him his first beer on Tuesday when he's 18. And it looks like his teammate's back in pit lane. Is that Rory? Yeah, first beer. So Hadjar might have a pixie in his engine or something. Novalak's up the order. I feel bad for sounding so surprised, but... And Static P5, how good! Fuck, what a commentary. Like, I've literally only just realised what the results are. It's not really commentary at this point, is it? It's more of a sort of podcast live of a man losing his mind as Jackie Moon goes to P3 and quickly bumped down to P4 by Frederick Vesti. This is a bit more like commentary. Come on, you can do this, James. Do it. Struggling a bit this weekend as well so far. I mean, we've only had one session. He was fast in Australia, but it just didn't seem to ever kind of come together for him. Saw him with his shirt off, actually, after the race. Hot. For sure. So the VAR's, super quick at this point of the weekend. Juan Manuel throws my words straight back into my face and puts it P9. 1.4, though, seconds off. I mean, the gaps here are big, but when you think about it scientifically, or mathematically perhaps, it's a much longer lap, so you've got a lot more margin, by definition, in virtue of time and distance, you have more margin for error. So technically the gaps should be bigger. They kind of just... Sorry, I'm just listening to Hadjar's radio. He sounds very upset about something. He says he's broken his suspension, it looks like. What was I talking about? I've completely forgotten. Oh well. Owasu again. Whoa, how good! Is it okay if I say Tokyo Drift? Yeah, I'll go with it. Owasu doing a bit of a sort of Tokyo Drift out there. I have no idea what corner this is. On the track, I was talking about the track and the margin for it. So it's understandable why there's much bigger margins, which is either whether you're a glass half full kind of person or a glass half empty kind of person, either positive or negative. You know, it should be relatively easy to make up larger chunks of time, but if you look at the sheets, it's a bit depressing. But old Novio still holding it pretty strong in P11 there. And by the way, this will be one of the more biased broadcasts you'll stumble across in the motoring world, but I'll make no apologies for that because I like who I like. And that's kind of that, really. Okay, Novalek's getting absolutely pummeled here now. He's dropping down the order like a hot plate. Come on. Put a lap in, Clem. Owasu swinging it around the last section there. If you try to, and also by the way, if you're trying to sync up the old timing there with your own Formula 2 qualifying broadcast from, am I allowed to say then? Oh, I guess if people would be in different countries, wouldn't they? So it's not only going to be on Sky Sports. Anyway, sorry, if you're trying to link up, Novalek to 12. If you're trying to link up the timing, there is exactly 14 minutes and 10 seconds now. There was 14 minutes and 10 seconds to go there when I said now. I'll do another 14 seconds, 14 minutes to go in 3, 2, 1, 14 minutes. There you go. You're welcome. Come on, the Novalek. You need 2 more spots. And it's old Mr. Primetime himself sitting on the pole. Quite a handy pole here as well. Short rundown into T1. Lewis Hamilton should know. Amaury Cordial has run over his own debris. Is that the motor racing equivalent of stepping on your own tail? I believe so. Crawford's given it a tap, has he? Oh, he's just got away with that. That is beautiful stuff from Jackie Moon. How's that? Did he touch it? Did he not? Who knows? Oh, I'm going to park that joke. As they look to be sort of building up now here for another push lap. They might go another cool. I don't know. I'm not a Formula 2 driver. I'm just a idiot insurance broker who happens to know a couple of F2 drivers. But anyway. So this is better. I'm going to talk about the performance of Clement Novalek, seeing that I live in his flat. P12, he'll be happy with that. He had a shocking practice session. Either he couldn't get a lap in or what, I don't know what was going on there. But this is looking far more promising. Far more promising thus far throughout the session. Come on, Clement Novalek. I'm going to read some of the checks. Sort of the track actions died down a bit here now again. So I'm going to read some of your comments. Somebody makes F1 race suit teddy bears, and I would love to send one to you guys. Oh, thank you. Oh, send it to my office. We'd love to have one. Thank you. Race winner predictions. Hauger obviously won last year. Difficult because I mean this one can really turn on its head, or because everyone's so terrified of being like they know someone's going to crash, often they then won't crash. Kind of, if I can finish my point, and no one's interrupting you, James, of course you can. Similar to Saudi Arabia F2 last year, it was such a crash fest the first time they went there, and then they kind of all expected it to be a real shit show, And again, I'm talking about last year. This year, it was a bit of a shit show again. But they had no safety cars through the whole feature race. And so I don't know if there might be that effect now where everyone kind of knows Baku has this crazy reputation to be a bit of a wild race. They all kind of take it a bit easy because they don't want to be that guy. I don't know. That's just a theory I have. Okie dokie. Bit of a stall here in proceedings. Everyone seems to be in the pits. Umbrellas out for the precious little F2 drivers. Don't want to make sure they get too hot in the car. Ooh. So they seem to be rolling out again now, though. So that's good news. If you're looking for me to talk about something that isn't my family pets in New Zealand. Porsche. If we're going to talk about predictions, he'd be my pick for pole. I think he might just pull it out. I think Behrman's going to be right up there. I think he's going to be in the top 4. Because I noticed that the side pod, they didn't do any of their predictions this time around. So instead they'll be coming from a man who has never in his life driven a Formula 2 car, so has pretty much no authority or right to be predicting results. But anyway, here I go. So I think it's going to be Pourchaire on pole. I think Behrman will be maybe P2, if not pole. I think Awaza will be up there. I'm going to say Awaza 3. Clement Novalak P4. I've put it out there in the universe. Let's make it happen. I reckon there's going to be an upset. I reckon there's going to be somebody like really, really rapid in like P18. I don't know who it's going to be, but I reckon there's going to be a bit of an upset there. Somebody said in the chat that we're all delusional. It's okay. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I reckon Maloney could be a bit of a dark horse. What is happening here? No one wants to be over. So Hadjar's going to send it. Similar to what we saw right at the beginning of this. This almost has the sort of Monza feeling to it. Oh, this is a disaster. This is an insurance broker's nightmare. Oh, Jahan, what are you doing to my heart rate? Oh. This is wild. This is fun. I like this. Ride the wave with me. I was having a heart attack 2 minutes ago. Now I'm saying I like it. Make your fucking mind up. Jahan's radio. Complaining as per usual. Literally that man. Good, great friend of the show, Jay Dizzle, Jahan Daruvala. But fuck, he's a miserable bastard. He could be P1 and the sun could be shining and you could offer him a cocktail and he would still have a face like a smacked ass. He's a bloody nice guy though. So Hadjar now is kind of the parachute, if you will. But he's not giving anyone a toe. So he's actually timed this quite well. Obviously he's going to do another build lap now. They could catch up to him, but it seems like even though he's not going to be benefiting from a tow from anyone, he's not going to be the provider of a tow to anybody else. James, can you release the list of the drivers you insure for legal reasons? No, I cannot. No, I can't do that. Sorry, but there's a few of them out here. Here we go. So there's going to be 2 build laps. Do you reckon they'll get 2 laps in or just 1 at the end? I reckon they'll get 2 laps in. 6 minutes 30. 6 minutes 30 now to go. If you're trying to keep pace with me here, as we've actually maintained a steady number here. It's kind of peaked at around about 350 people. Thank you to everyone for sticking with us. as I pioneer my way around commentary completely on my own. Yeah. So Martin's there. Car number 6. Behrman. Car. Oh my god! Can you guys just just give each other a bit more space for fuck's sake? This is just a fool's game by the look of it. I've got no idea where the tridents are. Can't even see them, but I'm sure they're out. It says Stanek's on and out left, and it says everyone's out there. So who knows? Except for Benavides, he parked it in the wall. I'm surprised I was banging on about it earlier in this stream. I am a bit surprised they're allowed to have cars that close to a World Heritage Site. Obviously, Formula One cars aren't really that noisy anymore, but the sound reverberations you would think might damage the brickwork, or it could be bad for the sort of fibers of the building, or what it's just my 2 cents. As Hajar now looks like he's on a flyer, we're on board with him. Foot flat down on the right-hand side, and then he's going to throw the anchors out around about the start of the curb there. Pinch it in into T1. He's out of the exit. Yeah, quite a nice exit there. He was fast earlier. I don't know why I sound so surprised. Doohan's following him, and then it's to be one of the Tridents in tow of Doohan. Couldn't tell you who it is. I think it might be Clem, but he's getting absolutely no airtime. So maybe Screaming Meals should... Who gets heaps of air? Porcher gets a lot of airtime. Maybe we should sponsor him. But anyway, speaking of French drivers, we're back with Hajar. Is he going to be quicker than Hauger in Sector 1? No, but he's bugger all off the pace, to be fair to him. He's only 0.016 off Hauger's Sector 1 lap time there, but something tells me he's going to need a little bit more in his pocket than that to really get it up there. As he sort of comes through into the castle section now, Doohan's being investigated for no further. So Doohan's being stopped being investigated for something. Vesti, he's gone purple in Sector 1. Vesti the bestie. Haven't met Frederick Vesti. He seems like a very nice young man. It's quite... High-Tech looks quite stable here. Uncharacteristically so. He's half a second up on Hauger. That's what he needed. And it's always going to be the middle sector where he's going to gain the time, to be fair. Somebody smarter would have figured that out after the first sector, that he hasn't got a toe, and that's probably why Hauger was so fast in Sector 1. So he's really clawed it back in Sector 2. But again, Sector 3, he's really going to struggle with the straight line speed, potentially. And that's not a dig at High-Tech. That's slipstream related. So again, how much did he lose in the last sector there? Shitloads. Stanek, P6. That means Clement Novalak. Vesti to the top. Clement Novalak could be on for something here if there's a bit of pace in that Trident car, as proved by Roman Stanek there. Leclerc. Porcher to P2. Oh, I wasn't far off with that call. Here we go. Leclerc, he'll go to P8. Good effort. Boschong only P12. He'll be disappointed with that. Sector 1 yellow flag. That doesn't matter too much. It's cleared. Iwaza, how's he tracking? Struggling a bit. P15. Good thing I've got my glasses on. Haven't had these for the last week. It's been a fucking nightmare. Two minutes left in the session now. 1:57. Replay of Behrman here. Is he the one that caused that brief yellow? Yeah, no. He's said at the start of this stream he does like to touch walls. Is he okay? Ah, fuck, he says he's got damage. Yeah, he got it right outside where he's there, and then that might be a toe link at the rear. Balls is my all I really have to say about that. That sucks. I like to see Ollie do well, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Broadcast or stream? I feel like broadcast is giving myself a bit too much credit. But stream, I feel like I'm some kind of internet celebrity, which makes me sound like a dick. Don't know. Up to you in the comments. Fuck me. Get it together, Blair. Alright, so they're all building up. So we're all building up now for one last bite at the cherry. Novak needs to seriously pull something out of his ass. It's a bit of a strange order to what we've been used to so far this year. Although, I mean, Prema from Porsche, that's not that unusual, and Hauger, we should expect him to be right up there. But to be honest, in that burst of laps, I expected to see the timing sheets move around a little bit more than they did. But here we go. One last go, as I said. Hadjar, again, he's going to be punching a hole, and he's going to be punching a bit of a hole for Doohan here. I think this could be a lap for Doohan. I think this actually could be an absolute lap for Jack Doohan. He's in a really nice bit of real estate. And Stanek, actually, to be fair, as well. He's going to have a double toe, essentially, which sounds like some kind of medical affliction, but it's not, I promise. It's just it's a reference to a slipstream effect. So yeah, the Monza effect, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, for fuck's sake, Novalak's not made it to the fucking line. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, and I feel it just slowly creeping. That's a fucker. Anyway, we return to the actual guys who are still putting a lap in. Fittipaldi purple in Sector 1. Good commentary, James. So as we're watching Moon on the brakes now. So, come on, Moon. There's one of the other Premas getting really slideways out there behind Jackie Moon, who's 2/10 up on Frederick Vesti, who's 5/10 up on himself. So shouldn't get too excited there. But he's got Vesti's purple in Sector 2, looking to hold on to his what do they call it when you've got pole position but you don't have pole position? I don't know, something. Stanek to P5. That's a fucking good result to him. Hauger! Patrick Swayze to the P1 and Jackie Moon! P2 knocked down to P3, now 4, but fuck, we'll take it. 5, 6. Behrman! Come on! Come on! Ollie B! He's got it done! He's fucking only got it done it as well! Ollie Behrman takes his maiden Formula 2 pole position! How good! Sorry about that. So it's going to be Behrman from Fittipaldi. Porsche Vesti, P4, great effort. Patrick Swayze bringing it up, P5. His teammate Daravalo, good effort in P6. Jackie Moon, P7. So he'll start off P4 tomorrow. Victor Martins, hot, P8. Maloney, P9. Vachor, P10. Boschon, P11. Leclerc. And Sky Sports ditched the broadcast before I could run you through the rest of the field there. So look it up for yourselves. Sorry about my outburst there. I don't mean to get that passionate, but, I love Ollie Behrman. You could argue I'm supporting him with the T-shirt. So, oh well. But Ollie fucking Behrman, how about it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, as my broadcast is now finished, Sky Sports, feel it all. I'm just going to have the... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, these Workday ads are so fucking cringe. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there before I get sued by Workday. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. That's all I've really got. That's really all I've got to say. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And I will be doing the sprint race and the feature race as well, unattended, as well as the stream. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for putting up with me, and have a great Friday. Right, now how the fuck do I...